Entitled Microwave Lady. Couple of years ago, I stopped at Lowe's to exchange my empty propane tank. I had just finished securing the new one, in my trunk, when I heard a shout from across the parking lot. Excuse me, can you help?" I looked up and saw a middle-aged woman having trouble getting a microwave that she had just bought into her trunk. No problem, I went over and helped her. The microwave wasn't too heavy, and it fit perfectly into her car. She thanked me, I nodded, and started to walk away. I was a few feet from her car when I heard her say, "Aren't you going to take my cart back up there?" I turned around and saw her pointing at her shopping cart. "Take my cart," she demanded, starting to get a little agitated. "Oh, you know I don't work here, right?" "Yes, I know, but you should still be a gentleman and take my cart." "No, I was helping you out with a microwave, but I'm not about to—" "Take my cart now," she yelled, pointing to the store. Okay, whatever. I didn't want to get in an argument in the middle of the Lowe's parking lot, so I sighed, walked back to her, and took her cart. I started to bring it back towards the store, but this didn't quite sit right with me. I was okay helping her with a microwave, but she was certainly capable of doing this part of the job. If people always do this kind of thing for her, she will never learn her lesson. I was about 10 feet away from her when I decided to stop pushing the cart back and wait for her to get into the car. As soon as she had her door shut, I turned around, walked back to her parking spot, and left that shopping cart right behind her car, so she couldn't leave without getting out and moving it herself. I hope that wonderful lady is having the best of luck with her microwave. The only way that could have been better is if you snuck that shopping cart right into her blind spot, so she gave it a little love tap when coming out. I don't work here. I don't work for you, and unless you really impress me, you don't work here either. Many years ago, when my knees still worked and there was more hair on my head than on my chin, I had a very cool job. I worked as a hatchet man. Sadly, that doesn't mean I worked for the mafia, hitting people with axes. I worked for a small company that was employed by larger companies that needed to downsize, but wanted all the anger from that downsizing aimed outside corporate management. We all good so far? Goodo. My bosses gave us all a lot of leeway on how we researched the companies we were sent to, and we all developed our own style. Mine was to get the large company to bring me in as a new minion, in which every department was having the most issues. I would then spend 4 to 6 weeks doing minion work, listening to folks gripe and seeing where changes need to be made. You also get a real good look at the true character of the management. A lot of the worst are very different when they're talking to a supervisor and a junior. More than one company was profoundly shocked when I went in and fired a third of the junior management, half of the senior and merge departments. They thought I was going to be firing minions, not bosses. One company stands out to me, and I wanted to share a magical moment of purest joy with you all. I was brought in on the shipping floor of a large warehouse. One of the reasons I was hired is that I've had a lot of different low-end jobs when I was younger, followed by extensive experience in assorted management roles. Day 1, there I am in store brand jeans and tee, and the floor supervisor hands me a manual I could have used to beat down a badger lord in full plate armor. This thing was insane. I looked my confusion at the super, and he explained that that was indeed the operating manual for putting toys in boxes and then sticking an address label on the side. That first week would have been pure hell if this was my actual job. Everything was insanely overcomplicated, which led to incorrect orders being sent, and staff were actually getting wage penalties for low accuracy. Anyway, a little chatting with my coworkers at lunch, and I find out that the new warehouse manager was some sort of relation to the owners, who had a degree from some fancy business school and had been brought in almost a year back, fresh out of uni and given this position. Power had gone to her head, and her total lack of any kind of experience had quickly left her in the crapper. Realizing she was neck deep and sinking fast, she panicked, drove out the veteran management that could have helped her, and just flailed wildly. often wandering out to the warehouse to nitpick over details that didn't matter, scream at employees, and never in high vis. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Now, don't get me wrong, the business had other issues and this wasn't going to be a quick fix. But I'd pretty much identified problem number one. So, 4 weeks in, and I'd identified where they were losing money. Shipping. Their shippers were absolutely screwing them on prices through a loophole in the contract. Learned that over beer and pool with the shipping guys. And a couple of other minor issues, and I was ready to take the gloves off and really get stuck in. Now, bear in mind that for the last 4 weeks, this lady has seen me 6 days a week wearing scuffed steelies and own brand clothing. She blew up at me a couple of times for reminding her that high vis was required, but I didn't make a huge impression. Monday morning, I walk in at 9 a.m., start of office hours. She blew up. She tore into me about being 3 hours late for my shift, that she could fire me and replace me like that. She loved that threat. Yada yada yada. Then she started to run down and she noticed a few details. Like my normally mussy hair was perfectly styled, I was clean shaven and not scraggly, I was wearing a $1,500 designer suit and hand-stitched Italian shoes. Princesses noticed labels. "Good morning," I said. "I'm OP from Ketchum Gutman Laugh. Here's my business card." Her face now looked like week-old porridge. Office rumors had been rife as word had leaked that my company was coming in. And this is a moment that even all these years later still brings a warm, happy feeling to the cockles of my dark and crusty heart. "Young lady, I don't work here. I don't work for you, and unless you absolutely impress me over the next couple of weeks, you won't work here either." The rest of the office were staring in a mix of shock and glee as I lead her into her office. I sat in her chair and took a large pad from my briefcase, gift from my boss. Turns out, she wasn't a bad kid, just scared and in over her head. Once she realized that I didn't have an axe to grind, and not only could help her, but would, she was actually kind of sweet. Latched onto me like a puppy with separation anxiety. I worked with her to fix her insane rules and crappy behavior. We got rid of a couple of genuinely toxic folk and basically turned the place around. I swear, the best bit of that job was watching the faces of crappy toxic folk, bullies, and lazy twats as they're getting walked into the office, which every office I was in, and they realized that the new guy they had been dicks to was the guy deciding their fate. I loved that. Next time on Undercover Boss. Is this story even true, or did he rip it off of CBS? I mean, sure, this could certainly still be true, but when you start describing yourself in a $1,500 suit and Italian hand-stitched shoes, it kinda just sounds like you're jerking yourself off in front of Reddit instead of actually telling a true story. Dumb lady gets mad I'm not helping her at self-checkout. Cast, DL, dumb lady, me, employee. The other day, I went to Walmart to get a container of BBs for my BB gun when I felt a tap on my shoulder. DL. Finally, I found an employee to ring up my stuff. Me. Sorry, ma'am, I don't work here. DL. Then why are you in uniform? I look down and see that I'm wearing a shirt like the one that Goku wears. Me. Ma'am, you must be high if you think that my GI is a uniform. How dare you speak to me like that? I'll have you fired. Me. Have fun with that. She storms off and I go to the self-checkout and see DL. DL. Did you grow a brain and decide to help me? Me. I'm not helping you, that's a self-checkout. You ring yourself out, and you're the only one who should grow a brain. She then throws her stuff on the ground and drags E over to me. DL. I want you to fire this man in the orange uniform. He is lazy and refused to help me. E. Nice Goku shirt. DL. Fire him. E. I can't fire customers, he doesn't work here. After that, I get my BBs and leave. That has got to be the luckiest lady I've ever seen, threatening Goku and still managing to come out alive. Alrighty guys, it's gonna wrap it up for today. I hope you enjoyed the stories, and if you did, consider subscribing if you're new, and if you really liked it, maybe give it a thumbs up and a share. Also, if you're interested in gaming content, why not head on over to Fubier Gaming. Got the first video out and many more to come in the near future. So, if you're interested in that, I'll be posting a link down in the comments below, also one in the description. Anyways, I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.